Come on now, fellas! We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go!
Welcome in to Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, joined again by Maurice Patton, back in the Lee Company studio. How you feeling?
I'm all right. Yesterday was a long day. Probably not as long as it was for you. But...
It wasn't so bad.
Oh, good.
We had a lot of fun talking with a lot of guests. We had 4 of them, so it just kept them going. And then
Heather and David and who?
Xavier Smith talking NBA, and of course Terry joining us for Titans talk. So, yeah, it was an interesting show. A good time was had by some.
Well, there you go.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah,
really.
as long as it was enjoyed.
Yeah. But yeah, we had an okay time, and we're glad to have you back. I can assure you.
Well, I'm glad to be back.
at least I am. Now, anybody else, I can't tell you.
Well, you're all that matters. So.
Yeah, there you go. Because my safety on this show is important.
There you go.
I'm saying. We've got a good show today too. It's high school football preps Thursday. So looking forward to that, because always a good time when we get a chance to talk with the local coach, and we'll get to do that with Mount Juliet's TREY Perry. So long as Justin doesn't cut him off while he talks about his opponent this week.
While I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard from TREY this week already, Justin? Did you hear from him last night?
Who's that? TREY Perry?
TREY Perry from Mount.
Oh, yeah. He was on Tommy's show last night.
Yeah, I thought it might have been. So always fun when
yeah, he's a good guy. I like him a lot. He's
Wilson
super
County
solid.
folks.
He is a good guy. He is a good guy. Enjoy him. Looking forward to that segment.
So, all right. We've got hardware to hand out. We've got Major League Baseball to talk about, and there's plenty to talk about there, and much more. So you guys stick with us throughout the show. Looking forward to it. Right now, we're going to go to yesterday's results and today's schedule, and we'll bring you the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
The Thursday Rundown is brought to you by Mockingbird Title and Escrow, an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee that will get your deals closed without worry and fuss. A family business that offers the highest level of expertise in the industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions. Consider them part of your team. Call 615-274-8698 or visit Mockingbird Title TN today.
Major League Baseball action yesterday. The Astros advance with a 3-2 win over Minnesota Twins, and the Diamondbacks advance with a sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers, 4-2. Phillies, one game away. They down the Braves behind a 2-home run effort from Bryce Harper, 10-2, taking a 2-1 lead in that series. College football last night. The Miners of Texas El Paso down the Panthers of Florida International 27-14 in hashtag Weekday CUSA. Also in hashtag Weekday CUSA action, it was New Mexico State and Jerry Kill getting the 27-13 win over Sam Houston. WNBA Finals, Game 2 goes to the Aces. It was Las Vegas 104 and New York 76, and Las Vegas now leads the series 2-0.
High school volleyball action today. We are one step away from the state tournament. Sectional action tonight. All these games are at 7 o'clock. In Class A, Eagleville travels
Sound
to East.
it out.
Yeah, there we go. Say it like it's spelled. Yep. Eagleville goes to East Robertson. Summertown is at Harpeth, and Camden comes across the river to Loretto. In Class AA, Lexington is at Valor Collegiate, and White House Heritage is at Creekwood. In Class AAA, East Hamilton is at Oakland, Green Hill is at Nolensville, Brentwood is at Gallatin, Houston goes to Clarksville, and Rossview travels to Collierville. Again, all those are 7 o'clock best of 5 matches.
7 o'clock first serve.
I reckon. Makes sense.
Good for us.
There we go. Girls soccer tonight. These are district championship games, I believe. Winners will host region semifinals. Losers will travel. Harpeth is at Cheatham County at 6. Spring Hill is at Lincoln County at 6:30. Gallatin is at Hendersonville at 7. Also, Siegel plays Oakland at 7. And Wilson Central is at Stewart's Creek at 7.
College football tonight. It's West Virginia and Mountain Home at Houston. Wonder if Houston's going to be wearing those Love You Blues tonight. I'm not sure.
It'll be interesting. This is the Dana Holgerson Bowl,
the
right?
Dana Holgerson Bowl, indeed. It's a 6 p.m. kick on FS1. You're going to want to tune in for that. SMU at East Carolina at 6:30 on ESPN. Major League Baseball in prime time because it's the only game in town.
Only game in hashtag.
That's right. The Phillies host the Braves in Game 4 of the NLDS at 7:07 on TBS. Nashville Predators open their home season at Bridgestone Arena tonight against the Kraken of Seattle. It's a 7 o'clock puck drop on Valley Sports South. And in NFL action, the Broncos visit Kansas City and the Chiefs at 7:15 on Amazon Prime.
If the Dolphins could score 70 against the Broncos,
however many it is, I'm going to be happy. And I hope it's north of 40.
Who you got?
And I hope Mahomes passes for 5 and runs for 3.
Oh, so you started him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to start Mahomes tonight and see what happens.
Good luck.
Yeah. So, should be fun. That, folks, is your rundown. Top stories brought to you, as always, by our friends at Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill Shopping Center here in Columbia. Make sure to go by and get your deli lunch specials or your fresh hand-cut meats and produce each and every single day. Cost plus 10% at the register. Again, Piggly Wiggly here in Columbia, Neely's Mill Shopping Center, 5 years in a row, voted the best grocery store in town.
That's a dynasty, isn't it?
At this point, that is a dynasty. It's as much of one as you can find. So, top story, Mo, is a little late this week. Normally, we do this on Tuesday and at the latest Wednesday, but you weren't here yesterday. And so I'm going to bring it back as the Tennessee Sports Writers Association announced earlier its College Players of the Week for last week. And so let's talk a little about them.
Football. Offensive players of the week or player of the week was Chattanooga sophomore receiver Javen Watley. Had a school record 353 all-purpose yards with 11 catches for 231 yards and 4 touchdowns. In a 52-50 loss to number 17 Western Carolina in SoCon play. That's a heck of a game. So I guess that other 122 yards was return yardage.
That's a lot of return yards. I guess. Well, I mean,
well,
I guess,
there were a lot of kickoffs.
I was going to say there seems to be a lot of kickoffs. So
there were a lot of kickoffs. Touchdown catches of 31, 8, 11, and 32, becoming just the third Chattanooga player to record 4 or more touchdown catches in a game. Previously doing so were former Franklin County standout Kaz DiMatteo, who had 6 against Mississippi Valley in 2000.
Wait, he played at Franklin County?
Yeah, I covered him.
Wow. He was the defensive coach for the Tennessee Valley Vipers under Dean Coquinos in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
Did not realize that he was a Franklin County guy.
He was a Franklin County guy. Yep. And the other guy to catch 4 touchdowns or more in a game at Chattanooga, you may have also heard of.
I'm going to guess his name is Terrell Owens. Okay.
4 against Marshall in 1994. Most receiving yards for Chattanooga players since Bryce Nunley against the Citadel in 2018, and is the 5th most in a single game in program history.
Well done.
Defensively, Cumberland's Derek Taylor, who apparently is a Tennessee transfer, had 5 tackles and 2 interceptions in the Phoenix's 21-17 win over number 23 University of the Cumberlands.
That's a big win for them on that particular day, because that was an anniversary of 222.
And any win is a big win on the anniversary of that
But
day.
beating a ranked opponent is pretty impressive. So well done for changing the narrative.
Absolutely.
Although the Facebook post has been going around explaining the backstory of that game.
They played like 5 games in 11 days or something
No.
like that.
No, they didn't have a team. They had 2 years prior, or the year prior, they had Cumberland cut the team.
Oh, okay.
And
but they had a contract?
But they had a contract, and the only people that somehow didn't get the memo that all the games were canceled was Georgia Tech, and they were already mad about something. And so they come up here, and at the time, most of the polls went by margin of victory and points scored. So John Heisman, head coach of the Yellow Jackets,
and the guy
playing against a bunch of frat guys from Cumberland. I didn't realize it. So they literally went to the frat houses and got as many people, kind of like Lane Kiffin and his punter, except for this was the whole team. They just threw whoever they could out there. So I didn't realize that. They didn't even have a team. They just showed up. And so, I didn't. It was really interesting to understand what happened, because I had no idea.
Yeah. How does this happen? Yeah. Well, now you know.
And so I thought that was interesting. And so for them to get a win over a ranked opponent on the anniversary of that is huge, and well done.
Yeah. Men's soccer TSWA player of the week is Belmont midfielder Jensen Wilson. Led the Bruins to their first ever win at Bradley in Missouri Valley Conference play, scoring twice in a 3-1 win. On the women's side, University of the South freshman defender Katie Dullye, Dullye. I don't have a pronunciation guide, but
I'm with you. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Again, freshman defender. Scored 2 goals with an assist. Scored both goals in a 2-0 win over Hendricks. Yeah.
The defenseman.
Okay. Apparently she was pushing up. Also had a goal and an assist in a 2-1 win over Rhodes. So
Come on.
couple of big wins for University of the South and for Katie, Katye. I hope that's right. Dougie. Maybe they should look at putting Katie up front.
No, they're sandbagging with her.
Maybe so.
That,
Get the
she's
mismatch.
she's a defense.
She's just a defender. Fish posh. Yep. Boom. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
What is she doing?
2 goals later, and you're like, wait.
Maybe we should mark her.
Somebody stop that girl.
Yeah. Mama, there go that woman.
Exactly.
Volleyball. Lipscomb middle blocker Meg Mersman had strong outings for the Bisons in a 3-2 win over Eastern Kentucky, giving the Colonels their first conference loss and third loss overall, and in a 3-1 win over Bellarmine for Lipscomb's 8th consecutive win this season. Mersman had 38 total kills. She hit .452 with a season high 21 kills against EKU and 17 kills against Bellarmine. So Lipscomb's Meg Mersman is the Tennessee Sports Writers Association's Volleyball Player of the Week. Sewanee's Katie Dougie and Jansen Wilson took soccer honors, and Chattanooga's Javen Watley and Cumberland's Derek Taylor took football honors. Congratulations to all 5.
You gotta be impressed by the spelling of Katie's name here with the Katye Dullye. That's well done.
We're getting a little creative.
That's, I mean, hey, maybe that was to help people understand how to pronounce the last name.
Maybe. Before we go, top story part deux,
as big news out of Bethel earlier this week.
Yeah, and it's big. It's kind of ironic that we got Trey Perry joining us here in the next segment.
It's the Mount Juliet show.
It is the Mount Juliet show at this point. Bethel coach Michael Jasper Bethel football coach Michael Jasper has been named to that school's Hall of Fame. And that's huge.
It is. Super, super exciting because, friend of the show, great guy. Had a good time talking with him a couple years ago at the Blue Cross Bowl out in Chattanooga. And he's been a fantastic addition to that, or a fantastic leader of that staff over there, as they have really ramped up over at Bethel. So
done. The Wildcats are ranked number 12 nationally.
That seems good.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Will be inducted during ceremonies next Friday over there. It's now in his 5th year as head coach. Previously served as assistant head coach and defensive line coach. Before that, offensive line coach and run game coordinator. Also oversaw strength and conditioning. Spent 3 years in the National Football League with the Bills, Giants, and Panthers. Played at UT Martin, redshirted at MTSU, and then finished up his career at Bethel. 3 years down there. Drafted in the 7th round by the Bills in 2011.
Well, they had a tough loss on Saturday to also nationally ranked Georgetown, 52-24. But they do have a couple of big home games coming up, Roosevelt and Cumberland on the 21st, the 3rd Saturday in October. Cumberland and Bethel, baby. Let's go.
3rd Saturday. So this is wild. He graduated from Mount Juliet in 2005 along with Levi Brown.
Okay.
and Alicia Clark.
Wow. That's a graduating class right there.
That's a graduating class.
Wonder who
right
won
there.
most athletic.
That's a good question.
We need to you can get the Mount Juliet yearbooks out for that.
Yeah, we may need to do a little digging.
Well, we'll continue this Mount Juliet talk on the other side of a break as football coach TREY Perry joins us ahead of their contest against Lebanon tomorrow. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be right back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We are live from the Lee Company studio here in Columbia. Glad to have you guys with us on this Preps Thursday. High school football picks coming your way later in the show, including Main Street Preps Game of the Week, which happens to be Mount Juliet and Lebanon. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about that one a little bit later, so stick around in the show. Of course, Terry McCormick coming up at the top of the hour. We'll hand out some hardware here in a minute and talk a little baseball. But before we do that, we're going to talk a little high school football with Mount Juliet head football coach TREY Perry here on Coach's Corner. Coach, welcome in. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Hey, we're doing well, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time with us. Obviously, a big one tomorrow night when the Blue Devils come to town. And, you know, there have been times when this was a region game, times when it wasn't a region game, but it's always been a big game regardless.
Yeah, I think Tommy had me on his thing last night, Tommy Bryan, and he said, and he would know, that that we've been playing since 1977 consecutively. Played before that, on again, off again.
Mhm.
But it pretty. You know, it's funny. I'm sitting here. I didn't even plan on doing this, but there's a book that a guy wrote, Wilson County's Colorful Football Rivalry, Mount Juliet versus Lebanon. He sent it in the mail the first of the year, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff in the beginning that, you know, I learned some things, and throughout, basically after that, it's just clips from the different years. But, you know, when it gets down to it, it's still a Region 4 6A game, and on Saturday, that's what you're going to remember more than anything else, not the rivalry part of it. You have to acknowledge it, but you know, you have to also acknowledge your body of work throughout the season and how you can't let the rivalry affect your end game goals. So there's a balance there, and Chuck Gentry does a good job of that, I'm sure, as well. But that's kind of the most paramount thing that we've got going into tomorrow night.
Coach, you guys come into this matchup 7-0 overall, 4-0 in region play. And I had a chance to watch your Thursday night opener against Cane Ridge, where you guys ultimately took care of business against Cane Ridge. Got out to a great start. They kind of got back into it, and y'all held on. But, you know, what did you see that night that would have made you feel like you were going to be going into this game, going into your off week last week, undefeated?
We're a little bit ahead of schedule, if I'm being completely honest. And I will tell you that I will give an immense amount of credit to our coaching staff and our senior class. I don't think it's a secret. Our junior class is probably the bulk of our talent base, but we have seniors that all have value and roles. And I'm not just saying that, and they know I'm not just saying that. And we've got a couple war daddies too that can play. Luckily, they're vocal enough that their mentorship's been really good to the junior class. That night, I would say this, and I'm not taking anything away from margin of victory or anything, but I felt like we played the Cane Ridge team that was coming off an 11-2 season that won a regional title, and had everybody healthy and everybody at their disposal. And I've seen them on film since then, and, you know, due to attrition or injury, one or the other, or some combination of both, they're just not quite the same football team. Now, we did identify that night, and you were right, and we didn't finish. So we come back in week 3 with Gallatin and almost do something similar against a really good football team there. But I think there's some positive in that too, because those were 4-quarter football games. You know, we've had some that the score sort of got away early enough that, I mean, there's good in that too. You get to play a lot of people, so on and so forth. But sometimes you want to get those responses to adversity in the 3rd and 4th quarter, because when you get into games like this, it's almost a foregone conclusion that you're going to face that at some point.
Trey Perry, head coach of Mount Juliet, here with us on Main Street Sports Down Coach's Corner. Coach, we talk about this when we're talking about every level of the sport. It's a quarterback-driven sport, and fortunately for you, you've got a pretty good one. How much of a, or how less of a burden is there when you have a guy like Tyler Travers behind center?
There's 2 sides to it. I mean, on one side, it's great because you're right. It is a quarterback-driven sport now, and you know that somewhat pains me because I'm a defensive guy. But
that was going to be my follow-up question, actually. But go ahead.
But that's a reality. But T's done such a good job for us. You know, leadership role too, preparation. His progress from last year, where he sort of got thrust into it. I mean, he got thrust into a starting role in week 1 last year and threw like a 72% completion rate last year. So he's obviously pretty cerebral. He understands his reads. We work well in our RPO system. He's really dangerous at that, you know, being able to change his arm slot and those kind of things. And here's the other side of what I was going to say in the beginning. It's also tremendously nerve-wracking because, we want to keep him upright and healthy, and he's an athlete and wants to run, but once he gets the rule is until it gets to November, get down. So we can survive another series and another play. But Tyler's done great for us.
Coach, you've had some pretty athletic quarterbacks during your tenure there at Mount Juliet, and you talk about the fine line between being competitive and being reckless there with Tyler, I guess. And how do you get those guys? How do you get him to recognize, live to play another play?
Part of it got help last year when NFHS and TWSAA got the rule in place that needed to be in place a long time ago, which is when you get outside the pocket and you get it past the line of scrimmage, it's a dead ball and no intentional grounding. So now you teach that, if the second progression is not there, live to fight another day. Don't put an offensive lineman in peril. And I think too, we're a tempo-based offense. We like to go fast. So a lot of that is Tyler's presence of mind about, I'll get what I can get here, but now I'm going to find the nearest official, get the ball back to him, and so we can snap the ball again. I got another opportunity to catch it and do something with it. Now in practice, he wears a red jersey and nobody touches him. But when we get to Friday night, he's smart. I mean, he understands, and there's certain cases where, we can kind of predicate the call to where he won't run, or if it's a short yardage play and we got to get it. And he understands that too.
So you're saying then that sort of like baseball, you don't necessarily have a green light, but you do have a red light for him where he
absolutely
is not to run?
And yeah. And so we can lock certain things, but a lot of things too. Colt Carver, our offense coordinator, does a tremendous job. And that's why I mentioned our RPO game earlier. Like sometimes you can get, if you're trying to protect your quarterback to a certain extent, you can get your playmakers. And we have a few, John Michael Crudup, Harrison Edwards, Baylor Osborne's coming off an injury, but he's a playmaker for us. Our tight ends are good because we can get in 12 personnel, but we can also spread out and look like an 11, 10 personnel team with the same people. Our two outside receivers are seniors that have had a good year. So there's some balance in that too, to where Tyler knows I don't necessarily have to run. We can count the box, and if the box is light, we're going to run the football with one of those playmakers, and if the box is heavy, we're going to throw the football to one of those playmakers. And so that way, I always talk about balance is not just run pass; it's also between the tackles and perimeter base too. And we try to be balanced both. And again, he does a good job of that.
Mount Juliet football coach TREY Perry joining us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. TREY, the way the schedule has evolved, everybody has an off week nowadays, and I'm sure that y'all's was somewhat impacted by fall break. I'm assuming y'all were on fall break last week maybe, but when you are playing the way you guys have been playing, particularly your last four games, 53-38, 47-31, and do you hate to see that break coming up?
Yes and no. I guess in the grand scheme of things, from just a purist of high school football, I wish we'd start later. With these heat restrictions and all that. In this particular season, I've kind of said it in every season, but this particular season, we had this after our 7th week. If we're going to have one, I do like it where it's at, and simply because of this. Our expectations in this program now are not to play a 10-game schedule. It's to get deeper and hopefully a lot deeper. So, my Portland math tells me that between 7 and 8 is halfway to 15. So if that part of it gets us healthier, gets us some rest, and again, a kind of a testament to our kids, even though we have an odd ball break with Wilson County because it's a week and a half, and during our bye week part of it, we still got in 2 really good practices. They got a 5-day break, but we came back. We do some stuff on Sunday afternoon after church. They came back on Sunday. We were ready to go. We had a conditioning test. They passed it with flying colors, and we were right back in our normal mode. So I mean, there's going to be, but Lebanon had the same situation, so it kind of cancels that part out because you're playing another team did the same thing.
And that kind of that works out. It's almost like, man, can we schedule it like that every time where we know that our opponent's coming off a bye as well, and that'd be great. Thank you. Coach, you mentioned this defense and your defensive guy. You guys have really shown the strength of this team kind of relies on your defense because, this is not new territory for you being undefeated or playing for a region championship this late in the season. It's not. So, defense travels, defense wins championships. And, who are some of the guys that really you lean on to lead this defense?
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, even before I talk about individuals, when you look at our defense as a whole, I mean, it's easy to talk about Tennessee because they're the college team that we see a lot. It's right in front of us. And when Josh Heupel came and introduced what he did, I really focused on how he talked about defense and the redefined goals of what they look for on defense. I grew up in an era where points per game that was the thing. Like, shutouts were a thing, and they were more commonplace. That's not the case anymore. There's too many possessions. There's the tempo's too fast. I mean, and that's not mailing it in. I mean, there's those times where we have outstanding defensive performances, but it's a 10 possession game. You stop them 9 times. I mean, generally you're going to win that football game. But causing turnovers. Now, my pet peeve is when I look at something and somebody says opportunistic Bears. That no, we're not. We run to the football and we knock it out. We cause that. So I think being uber aggressive. We talk about 1 and outs and 2 and outs, not 3 and outs. Like, why do we have to wait 3 downs? Let's get the ball back before then. And really focus on our turnover circuits and stuff throughout the week. And everything you asked me was about individuals, and I'm talking teams. So let me say,
no, that's fine.
Atticus Fiorita is our weak side defensive end. He's a junior. He has 12 sacks. I think he's got 5 or 6 more tackles for loss. He is a one-man wrecking crew. And what I like about him is he's obviously twitchy enough to get to the quarterback, but he is a student of the game and really does well on reading blocks and being able to fit the run just as much as because sometimes you get a pass rusher, that's great, and then he gets kicked out 57 times and, you're on the wrong end of things. But he gets that. He is an FBS football player, and I think that'll be seen soon enough. But I think our table is set defensively by our 2 seniors in Kaysen Walls and Will Zerniak. Kaysen's our star position, which is sort of like a strong safety. He's a coach on the field, incredibly cerebral, 34 ACT, big-time Ivy League prospect, and he does it on and off the field. He's good because he's such a hybrid to be able to cover in the throw game and play man coverage concepts, but also fit the run. And then Zerniak's a wild man. You look for linebackers nowadays, and I've said they're a endangered species. But he is one, and he matter of fact, we have a certain package where we'll put him at fullback, and basically we just tell him he's an inverted linebacker. He's going to go hit the same gap in the same person. So he's a hit ball guy, and he is somebody that it's like a security blanket having it in the middle of the defense. He's a dude.
Prairie football coach at Mount Juliet, joining us here on Main Street Sports today on Coach's Corner. Coach, as you were mentioning some of your offensive weapons, I wanted to get back to one guy who's a name that a lot of folks in this area are probably aware of or familiar with, Harrison Edwards, whose dad, Scooter Edwards, played at Donaldson Christian back in the mid-'80s. I think he was Mr. Football over there in '87 probably, but, like father, like son there?
His nickname's Deuce, and he does a lot of deuces on the way out the door, out the gate. He can fly. Yeah, I mean they've had plenty of spirited debates about who was faster in their prime, but Scooter's got enough like competitive spirit left that he almost lined up a couple weeks ago in the indoor and raced him. I want to make sure the trainer was on site, but
good idea. Yeah, make sure he was stretched too before.
Yeah, right. I know it would be the case for me, but Harrison is he's super dynamic. I mentioned him and J Mike earlier. What you get out of them, and this whole discussion about the NFL and how do you pay a back, right? Like, because a lot of them are 2 down backs and not 3 down backs because they can't block or don't block or they don't catch the ball in the backfield. Both these guys do both. And what's even better is we get to find ways to put them both on the field and not just in the traditional offset role. Like we can put them at X outside. We can put them in the slot. We can put them side by side. And, obviously that adds to the opportunities for explosion. But Harrison's biggest probably unknown stat is I think he's averaging 40-something yards a kickoff return and has 300 to 400 yards in kickoff returns and a couple scores too. So obviously that helps you when you're talking about field position and those type of things.
Hidden yards, they call them, right?
Right.
You take all the yards you can get, Coach.
Absolutely.
Coach, we appreciate you taking time with us today here and looking forward to a great game tomorrow night in region play against Lebanon. So good luck and congrats this far on your season. And hopefully we will see you late in November, early December.
I like the sound of that. Hey, guys, thanks for what you do for high school football, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Trey. We'll talk to you.
All right, let's hand out a little hardware, Mo. We've got a couple things to show off. A little In-to-Win Life Team of the Week, presented by our friends at Custom Stone Handlers, 931-490-4990 or CustomStonehandlers.com. Because outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. And so our In-to-Win Life Team of the Week, Mo.
The Columbia Central Lions football team went on the road last Friday night. You went with them. They did something they had not done in 4 previous tries, and that was win at Franklin County.
Yeah.
And it, it doesn't, on its face, it doesn't seem like a significant accomplishment, but it was. Because, again, they had not won there in their last 4 trips. So they went over there and got an 18-6 victory that keeps them in the hunt for the top half of postseason berth eligibility in Region 5-5A. Is that fair to say? They still got an outside shot at hosting, don't they? Or do they not?
No.
I think, okay.
I mean, Shelbyville would have to lose twice, and Tullahoma would have to lose twice.
Okay. All right.
So I don't think so.
Well, I
think they're
pretty well cemented themselves into the playoffs, though.
Yeah, I think they got they're almost the automatic three just because they have the tiebreaker over everyone under them outside of Lincoln County. They still have to beat Lincoln County, but if they work, if they do that, they will be the 3. Yeah, I was going back to look. You're right. They had not beaten them since their last win
over there. 15?
No, Mo. It was 2014. They had actually lost 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 in a row.
Okay. Over there.
Since 2014, because they have played.
They didn't play.
Well, they played back to back away last year and this year.
Right.
Also played back to back home games in 16 and 17, and back to back away games in 14 and 15. Yeah,
it was wild. It hasn't alternated home and home every year. It's been home, road, home. So yeah, but yeah,
that is wild.
In their last 4 trips to Winchester prior to Friday's 18-6 victory.
Nearly 10 years since they got a win down there. That's and look, great job. Kudos to them for getting it done and did it defensively. did it with defense,
which I'm sure first-year coach Tredarius Goff loves.
Yeah, he's happy about that for sure. The Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week.
Second time this year that Mount Pleasant senior Darian Meza has pulled down this award. And, you know, as someone...
And could have been more often.
Yeah, he has had a case more often than he has not.
He's been at least in the others nominated most of the year.
On a pretty regular basis, absolutely. 3 touchdowns over at East Hickman Friday night in a 34-0 win. Caught an 84-yard touchdown pass, caught a 6-yard touchdown pass, and had a 50-yard punt return for a score. That was his 3rd return for a touchdown in 3 weeks after an 85-yard kickoff return over at Lewis County and a 90-yard kickoff return last week against 2 weeks ago against Donaldson Christian. So as someone asked me, why do they keep kicking it to him?
Yeah, it's almost like they
and
can't
as
help
Kid Hartsfield would say,
shh. Yeah, honestly, it's the poor kid. He's not really been kicked to. He's just gone and gotten it.
Yeah.
And if you can't kick it to the end zone, he's got a chance to get it.
And if he gets it, he's got a chance to go.
Exactly. So watch out.
But he also had 4 catches for 149 yards in that win. So 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. That's not bad in and of itself. And that's very similar to how he got it the first time. In week 1, had 2 catches for 96 yards, and both of them went for scores. Dynamic.
Yes, he is. Yeah. There's no question there. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, baseball, Major League Baseball postseason continues, and we'll talk about Game 4 of the Braves-Phillies tonight. Right after this on Main Street Sports Today. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. October 12, 2001, with home runs from Chipper Jones, Julio Franco, and Paul Bacco.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Who also had a successful squeeze bunt. The Braves completed it. Yeah, right. Yeah.
What are those?
Yeah. What's more unlikely, a Paul Bacco home run or a Braves squeeze? Yeah. The Braves completed an NLDS sweep of the Houston Astros with a 6-2 Game 3 victory. Atlanta advanced to the league championship series for the 9th time in the last 10 seasons with the victory. That was this day in Braves history.
Paul Bacco played 12 years in the league.
How many with Atlanta, though?
2. Well, ish. He only played 85 games with Atlanta over 2 seasons. But he was backing up Javi Lopez. So what do you expect?
Well, he did his Javi Lopez imitation, I guess, in Game 3 of the NLDS.
He was with Atlanta. Second most games he played with an organ. No, I'm sorry. He played more games with some organizations that he was with only for a year. He played 2 years with the Cubs, 119 games.
Was he with Cincinnati at some point?
He was for 1 year. He played 99 games for Cincinnati in 2008. And was never really great.
Yeah, but number two catchers.
Backup catchers.
Gotta have them.
Do what you got to do. I mean, it's one of the best gigs in baseball.
It's right. Yeah, in baseball, it's right there with number 2 quarterback.
Yeah, it's right there with the that guy. So
yeah, play once a series.
If that.
Yep.
I mean,
day game after night game,
and that's it. That's pretty well when you get to play. Yeah. So, Mo, last night,
Last night, I'm glad I was traveling.
Yeah, I bet you were. Let me.
And when it got to 8-1 after the TREY Turner homer, I just stopped.
What was 8-2? Turner?
No, 8-1.
I thought Turner homered after.
No,
we homered.
No.
Maybe okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
after TREY Turner's homer, I was done.
So, well, I was done well before that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this to Braves fans who are watching. You can't.
You're right.
Okay, I thought we homered.
Braves scored in the top of the 6th.
Scored. I didn't know.
Scored in the top of the 6th. Turner's homer was in the bottom of the 6th.
Okay, I could have sworn, but I didn't know. I was only watching the score bug on my phone. I hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
Had zero interest in watching the actual gameplay
at that point.
It's easy to pretend your hindsight is foresight, and we can all play armchair manager, and you all know how I feel about Brian Snitker's managerial
acumen.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But pitching Bryce Elder to Bryce Harper was not that bad of a decision.
Pitching Bryce Elder to Bryce Harper was not that bad of a decision. Starting Bryce Elder was not that bad of a decision. I mean, again, this guy was an all-star.
I understand that he had not pitched well over the last, 6 weeks or so, but who else had? Your other option was a 20-year-old rookie. And I just don't know that that's that does you any better. Because again, as I said yesterday, only 3 players in the Phillies lineup had ever recorded a hit off of Bryce Elder. One of them was Nick Castellanos, who was 2 for 5 with 2 home runs. And clearly you don't pitch to him. Oh, just kidding. We do. And he's now 3 for 6 with 3 home runs.
Yeah. Bryce Harper in the first inning struck out swinging.
To that point in the game, Bryce Harper's 0 for 5 career against Bryce Elder. 0 for 5 and had just struck out. Elder had just gotten 2 ground balls in a row. Now, yeah, Turner got on with a ground ball hit, but it was a ground ball. There was no reason to think that Bryce Elder was not going to, that he was going to give up a home run. Now, outside of the situation and it being Bryce Harper, but that wouldn't have mattered if Bryce Elder were in there, if Brad Hand were in there, who Harper took deep later. As Mark Bowman said, can't help but wonder what it would have been like if Hand had pitched to Harper in the third inning. Well, we found out what it would have been like. Exactly the same. Maybe Bryce Harper's just that dadgum good. Okay, listen, I am not a Brian Snicker guy. I think we've won in spite of him. I've said that on this show 100 times. But that wasn't on him.
No, I don't think the Bryce Elder
anything with Bryce Elder.
Right. I don't, did he stay in too long? I mean, because he didn't come out after the Harper home run, did he?
Well, that's because there was nobody ready.
Oh.
But again, there was no reason to think that with 2 outs that he wasn't, maybe he gets another ground ball. Maybe he strikes him out again.
But I mean, once you've got,
it was only 3-0.
But once
it was 1-0. It was 1-1.
It was 1-1. Yeah, it was 1-1.
So why would you get him up? Why would you have somebody ready and then you've worn out your bullpen if he strikes him out? Crap! Now this guy's warmed up and he's thrown too many pitches in warm-ups. It's 1-1. He gets a ground ball or a strikeout, you're out of the inning. You go home. He pitches 2 or 3 more maybe, except not to Nick Castellanos. Do not pitch to that guy. I don't care if you and like I said, Rick Crannett's not going out there just before that and saying, I don't care if you bury 4 in the dirt, do not leave it up.
Mm-hmm.
Is probably the biggest crime. But there was no reason to have anybody warming up. Again, 1-1, ground balls, 0 for 5. And had pitched well.
Yeah, and
now going to Michael Tonkin on the other hand.
And again, sometimes great ball players are going to show you why they're great.
That's right. And that's what happened. It's just what happened. Look, Bryce Harper, it was personal. He was already mad about the Arcia situation,
which
is dumb, but whatever.
The whole situation is dumb, and I'm in the middle of a Twitter firestorm over it.
I still don't look, and I talked about this yesterday with David. Do you remember when Lincoln Riley banned the kid for reporting what he overheard at a press conference? Look, I don't necessarily think that it's that egregious of, to report it, but I would probably have asked the questions.
I think that's the whole thing for me.
I mean, you've heard the information. Get it on record in front of everybody, or to the side, ask them on the record. I mean, there's just a lot of ways that you could go about that, and some guy from the Washington Post overheard something, and again, whether that's what he was saying or not, Travis d'Arnaud alluded to him maybe having said it. But
well, Arcia says he said it, but he says he said it, but he was saying it to a teammate in a situation where he clearly was not expecting to be quoted. And there are those that say every mic is hot, but to me, and this is what I said on Twitter, or something to this effect. People that don't expect to be quoted shouldn't be quoted. And if it's important enough for you to write about it, it's important enough for you to ask about it, like you said. Exactly. Follow up on it. Hey, Orlando, did I just hear you saying attaboy Harper? Which, why would you not?
Yeah.
Under the circumstances.
I mean, it just seems silly. The whole thing seems silly.
And if that's what it takes to get you fired up in Game 3 of the NLDS, then you got other issues.
Clearly, he doesn't.
And
Bryce Harper does not have any issues right now.
Well, I mean, if he was so fired up about attaboy Harper, then how come he struck out to end the first.
I think he was trying to do too much. Look, I think he would have struck out again if he buries 4 in the dirt. He just didn't get it low. He didn't get in the bottom of the zone.
No.
And, the first pitch to Trey Turner was a full baseball inside the strike zone, called a ball. It was a sinker high. I mean, it was a full baseball inside the zone. I mean, he was giving you the low strikes, not giving you the high strikes. Why would you even think about going up, other than being outside the zone completely to get a swing and a miss? So it was a poor pitch. It was one bad pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Castellanos hit a good pitch out. Castellanos turned on one that was inside. It wasn't even a strike. He made a mistake to Harper. You can't make mistakes to Bryce Harper. But also,
note to self.
But it wasn't a mistake that he shouldn't have had the ability to make. Your hindsight cannot be confused with foresight. Period. Just know that. Anyway, let's talk more baseball on the other side of Terry, because Major League Baseball and postseason, all of the things that continue. Obviously, the Dodgers are out, the Orioles are out, the Braves are about to be out, and Houston continues to just coast along like nothing's wrong. So I don't know what's up with that, but we'll talk about it on the other side. Terry McCormick right now with the Titans reports right after these quick messages.
He shoots and he scores!
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
In Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Terry McCormick.
Hey guys, how are you? It is your daily Titans report, and it's sponsored by Zen Sports, which is the new sports book in Tennessee that's changing the bonus game for the better. Guys, the Titans are about to be in the air and headed to London, and there are 3 guys who are not going to make the trip and several others that there are question marks around in terms of how effective and how available they might be on Sunday. Traylon Burks, Luke Gifford, and Elijah Molden won't make the trip because of their injuries. Jeffrey Simmons was back today, but it was in a limited capacity. And then Aaron Brewer, who was limited yesterday with a neck injury, was out today. And then 2 other guys added to the injury report today that were not on it yesterday, Danico Autry with a finger and Amani Hooker with a thumb. So certainly lots of little nicks and knacks and, bruises and things like that are hampering the Titans as they get ready to face the Ravens over at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, I don't know about I'm not sure that a defensive lineman and a safety need their fingers and thumbs to be effective. So let's make sure let's play football. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Look, am I wrong?
Well, safeties probably need it more than defensive linemen, but because occasionally the ball comes their way and they need to intercept it. So we'll wait and see on that one. But
get you a cast and knock it out of the way. I don't care. Bat it down, baby. PBUs are fine. That's all I'm saying.
The big thing with me is how effective is Jeffrey Simmons going to be, and is Tierre Tart going to be able to play? Because if those guys, we saw what happened without Tart and with Simmons battling a shoulder injury up in Indianapolis. And the Baltimore Ravens are a team that's kind of cut from the same cloth as the Indianapolis Colts are in terms of offense. They like to run the football. They have, and the Colts had in Anthony Richardson before he got hurt, a dual threat quarterback who can run RPOs and things like that. And to me, if they don't have an effective Jeffrey Simmons and they don't have an effective Teair Tart, this is a major, major undertaking to ask this defense to come through against the Ravens.
Okay, but what happens to the line if Aaron Brewer can't play? Who plays center? Ravens?
Well, if he can't go, they simply install Corey Levin as your center. He's an experienced backup guy. And ironically, he made his first NFL start when the Titans were in London 5 years ago when they played the Chargers in 2018. That was his first NFL start over there in London. So who knows? His number may have come up again if Aaron Brewer is unable to give it a go.
Okay. Well, there you go. Should be an interesting weekend of practice. It's wild when you have to travel as far as they have to travel, and then you may not play on the backside. So we'll see. Teair Tart and Jeffrey Simmons, and of course Danico Autry, all major contributors to this defense. So should be a very eventful Sunday. If all three of those can't go, it'll be not fun to watch. Anyway, Terry, tell us about Zen Sports.
All right, glad to. Zen Sports is the new sports book in Tennessee, and it's revolutionizing the way you earn sports betting rewards. With Zen Sports, your rewards are cash rewards. You bet with real money, and now you're rewarded with it too. Earn a whopping 5% cash back welcome bonus for your first 15 days when you sign up with the code MAINSTREET, MAINST. Keep betting and keep earning every month after that with up to 3% cash back rewards on your betting volume. Best of all, earn cash commission on your referral bets with the Zen Sports Referral Rewards Program. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Right now, they have a dragon here. I saw it. No, they don't. There's no such thing as dragons. I swear, I saw it. It had huge claws. Get out of here. It had eyes as big as the moon. Come on, I'll show you. Wait up. Do you hear that? We're almost there. Whoa! I told you so. That is the dragon.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Continuing our conversation about Major League Baseball, Mo. I've seen a lot of Twitter talk about, and to the credit of most national media, having the same questions we have about the Major League Baseball postseason format, but yet all of the teams who are winning, the underdog teams, their fans are saying, well, the Astros are winning. How come you can't? And I understand it's a great,
and it's a fair question.
It's a great question.
I'd love to know. Trust me, as one of the as fans of one of the top teams who is not winning, who have not handled the downtime very well.
The Dodgers and Orioles both swept. The Braves on the verge of elimination for the second year in a row. at the hands of the Phillies.
And then there's Houston.
And then there's Houston, who did lose a game at least. But, I wonder.
The top 4 seeds, Atlanta, the Dodgers, Houston, and Baltimore, went 2-6 at home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well,
I don't know that that's necessarily what you would have expected, and I don't know that that's just because the teams that they were playing were all better. And it's a trend. It's not just this year.
Yeah.
It was last year as well.
To this point, and I made this point on Twitter, that 17 losses just in the postseason for teams on buys. The only three teams who have advanced are the Astros both times and the Yankees last year. And someone said, well, upsets never happen. And I'm like, well, at what point is it not an upset anymore? At what point is that just how it goes? At what point is the upset the higher seed winning? Because it seems like now's that point.
Mm-hmm.
And the five best teams in Major League Baseball, 5 best records, were 2-11 right now. Because the Brewers were 0-2, the Rays were 0-2, the Dodgers were 0-3, the Orioles were 0-3, and the Braves are 1-2. So,
and you can be a fan of your team, and that's fine, but to digest those numbers and your response be that nothing's wrong, you're being disingenuous.
Well, Mo,
you don't expect the better teams to be 2-11.
That's right.
2-11.
More top 2 seeds have lost
than one.
And that's no longer an upset. That's not even close to the definition of an upset. And I think that's kind of where I'm at.
And the sad thing is, when you say that, well, you're just a fan, well, you're just a homer. No, I'm looking at this.
Yeah, I mean, I want, and if I'm Major League Baseball, like I said Tuesday or Monday, I want the best teams in my league championship series.
You would think.
And instead, you're going to get Arizona and Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is probably going to be just fine. But Arizona, what does that give you?
I mean, I'm kind of where you were a couple of days ago. I'll be rooting for the Diamondbacks for a number of reasons.
Sure.
And, ideally it'll be, I don't know. Well, I don't think it matters because neither Houston nor Texas is probably the market that Major League Baseball wanted.
No, they would have loved Washington, D.C., especially with, how long it's been. But
and
Houston
Brooks Robinson.
Houston has made 7 consecutive league championship series.
It's amazing.
And we know what that's like. Not 7 consecutive, but having a run like that. We know what that's like. And as you know, one of the reasons for the ridiculous narrative that Atlanta doesn't have a great playoff atmosphere is because toward the end of that run, it got boring. Because 1, we expected to be there, but 2, we weren't winning it.
Right.
And, so in that vein, is Houston a great, you kind of want Texas to win if you're Major League Baseball, one would assume.
And Major League Baseball might want Texas to win for the sake of somebody different being there. I want to see Dusty Baker get everything he can get.
I would love to see Houston and Arizona because 1, I don't think the ratings would be very good.
Captain Chaos.
And ratings and money are the only way that things are going to change. And here's my question I asked you yesterday.
Assuming that they see a need for a change.
Well, the only way to see the need is to understand that your
Here's
best
what
teams,
happens. Yep.
your best teams need to be in the hunt, and giving them equal footing is the only way to get them there. I just don't understand, again, and I know that the playoff format changed in the 50s to a league championship series.
Oh, no. It was division play began in 1969.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
So yeah,
But
you got the top teams from the East and the West, and then in 92 maybe they went to 4 teams.
Right.
And it's progressed from there. But
I mean, 4 is probably okay, but if we're playing 162 games, maybe there was nothing ever wrong with it.
I think 5 might have been the number. I think 5 may be the number. 2 wild cards.
The 1 wild card playing game.
Yeah. And then that wild card turns around and plays the top seed, and 2 and 3 play each other. But
I'm fine with that.
Something's got to happen. Paul Newberry of the Associated Press had a column a couple of days ago that would be worth reading. I've not read it. I'm scanned through it. But I mentioned, do you add 2 more wild cards and make it, what's that, 8?
8.
Then? 8 for each league? He says that a 16-team format out of 30, opens the door for a team with a losing record to qualify. So it wouldn't have happened this year, but if such a system had been in place 2 years ago, the 79 and 83 Padres would have earned a wild card. You don't necessarily want teams with losing records.
No, you don't. And that's kind of where that's why, to me, it seems like there's no reason for 4 wild card teams.
But I don't think,
or 3 wild card teams.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to have any fewer playoff participants. I don't
That's
think
the
that
problem.
I don't
You
think
can't
that
put the
genie is going back in the bottle.
You can't put the genie back in the bottle, and that's the issue that we're facing now. I think scheduling has to change, if nothing else.
You mentioned in one of our other discussions of the playoff format, going with a 7-game series in the DS, and maybe that evens the playing field a little bit more. Maybe it gives you a little bit more room for error.
It does give you a little bit more room for error, and it gives you a little bit more time to get your timing back. I mean, that's what's been the issue from the get-go. Ender Inciarte, I know that most of you can't see it because he probably has you blocked, but I'm not among those. Josh Dobbs has me blocked, not Ender Inciarte. Go figure. But he said it. He said the exact same thing. You can't get your timing back after that. And timing is the most important thing. Well, you guys played sim games against your pitchers.
It's not
the same. It's just not.
And again, for people to act like it is being disingenuous.
It's so frustrating, man.
Again, we're Braves fans. It's right there. I'm not trying to hide it. But to not see the best teams advance, the best teams that have proven they're the best teams over 162 games. I mean,
because we lost
if Baltimore goes 5 games and loses, stuff happens. If the Braves go 5 games and lose, stuff happens. But Baltimore getting swept, the Dodgers getting swept at home, it's a little.
I will say, somebody mentioned playing the first 3 games at the higher seed, and then playing the last 2 on the road. And I
I don't like the decisive game being at the lesser seeded place.
Well, and I don't either, but they were talking about it's another day. It's one less day off because you would play 3 days in a row.
And I don't know that they need the travel day. I mean, teams play at home, travel, and play the next day on the road during the regular season.
Yeah, but I mean, and it was
And
only
the
an hour.
off days, I think, are more for TV than they are for
They're 100%
competitive
for TV.
reasons.
That's all it is. So it's for television. So I don't know. I just don't know why we're playing 162 if we're not going to make the 5 games that matter the most even that we can make them.
And we're not.
Well, you got to line their pitching up. They did too.
Absolutely, they did.
Zach,
how many days off did they have between the wild card and game 1?
3.
I think so.
So
yeah, I mean, they didn't have they were the lower seeded team, but the only difference in them being the lower seeded team was that they didn't have home field advantage coming into the series, and they took care of that in game 1
because you didn't have time. And that's, look, if you don't think that that's the truth, go look at what's the Phillies manager's name?
Oh, Rob Thompson.
Rob Thompson and Dave Roberts in my head. I want to call one of them Dave Thompson. And I'm just like,
too many Robs. Huh?
There's just a lot of, they sound very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But Rob Thompson said his entire game plan in game 1
was to get a lead.
No, was to throw fastballs. He said it was going to be nothing but fastballs from his bullpen. Well, if that right there doesn't tell you that he knows
timing
that they don't have their timing,
they can't catch up,
and they can't catch up. That right there, that proves it. That was the game plan, and it worked. I mean, if Zach Wheeler doesn't throw a slider to Austin Riley, we're done last night. We're swept too.
You're right.
If he throws another fastball, it's over. So it's just frustrating that people want to not look at things objectively.
You want objectivity.
I do, in fact.
Good luck.
Before we get out of this segment, I did have one thing I wanted to discuss that's outside of Major League Baseball, and that is Gary Danielson. Hope he enjoys calling the 3rd best game in the Big Ten next year. Danielson said in a recent interview with Adam Sparks of Knox News, does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Ahead of his call of the Tennessee-Texas A&M game, Danielson revealed his thoughts on Neyland Stadium in comparison to the other 13 stadiums around the Southeastern Conference. I love all the pomp and circumstance and the storylines. Tennessee doesn't have to take a backseat to anybody, but to me, it's just about the same as any other SEC stadiums. It's not a criticism. It's just an observation. It has nothing to do with Neyland per se or any other stadium. Home field advantage is about the same every week. Whether you're playing at Ole Miss or LSU or Florida or Georgia, for a football player, loud is loud. I don't know if it makes any difference if there's 80,000 loud people or 100,000 loud people. It's insane. Again, loud may be loud, but different loud matters. You can't simulate it in practice, and you certainly can't replicate what you heard at Georgia to prepare for Tennessee.
What gets me about this is, I mean, Gary Danielson is a former professional quarterback, which means he was a former collegiate quarterback, and he's been in those environments as a player, and you're going to tell me that there's no difference in 80,000 and 100,000 or 108,000
or whatever? Look, my issue with this is players disagree.
Players disagree. Coaches disagree. I mean, we just talked about the guy from Texas San Antonio a couple of weeks ago after they played at Neyland.
It's a different world.
I mean, when Oklahoma came to Neyland a few years back, when Tennessee wasn't even good, and they talked about how loud it was relative to anywhere else they had played. It's almost like people go out of their way to discredit Neyland in particular.
You know, we talked with Christopher Gabriel about it, and he said it's a different type of loud. It's more of a rumble, and than a tin box necessarily. And sure, I mean, that's probably part of it. But
and again, some stadiums aren't necessarily built for loud. Again, I was fortunate enough to go up to Michigan. Now, it was a Vanderbilt game. It was a season opener in 2007. Maybe they weren't motivated to be loud. At Michigan, Ohio State, at Michigan Stadium might sound different than Michigan Vanderbilt.
No, that wouldn't. Loud is loud, Mo.
Good point. But I mean, I could stand.
You just disproved his point right there.
There we go. I stood on the field and had a conversation with a guy about as closest for me to you right now and talked about like this. That's not going to happen in Neyland. Certainly not in an SEC environment. Right. So I don't know.
It's just ridiculous. It's speaking of disingenuous. I think that this is a disingenuous comment. I think it's easy to pick on Tennessee because that's, they are going to give you interaction, as I have learned this week. Although I will say that one thing I learned about tweeting that, Tennessee fans make me not want to be a Tennessee fan.
There are a number of people that agree with you, though.
Oh, there were plenty, even in my comments. But I said, thank goodness for the pockets of the people of people that we do have that I interact with, and got a lot of comments about, well, then don't be a Tennessee fan. Bye. We don't need you. Blah blah. This. I'm like, see, this is why people say we can't read. This is why people make fun of us and say we can't read, because clearly some of us can't. It's very frustrating. But anyway, let's take a break. We've got 10 high school football games to pick. We're going to do it right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Come back to the Lee Company studio right after this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Time now to go to the Main Street Preps Pick'em high school football picks. Mo, congratulations. 10-0 last week.
Got lucky.
That's a good day.
That's not a bad day. I'll take it.
You were the only one to go 10-0 because you were the only person to pick Columbia Academy. Right?
Really?
No, I'm sorry. You were the only
MBA.
That's right, Montgomery Bell Academy. You were the only one to pick MBA.
I just felt like Marty Uverard was going to figure out a way to get it done.
Hard to lose on the week you're announced as the Hall of Fame, isn't it?
There you go.
It'd be a tough day.
Yeah. It was a good weekend for Marty. Good weekend for the former Blue Raider, yeah.
So I'm just saying.
That's a big win for him.
It was. Speaking of former Blue Raiders, I know that you responded. What did you think about my idea of putting the boot statue somewhere where players could slap his hand when they go by to the stadium?
It beats the idea of a Pegasus statue.
Look, I don't have any problem with the Pegasus.
I absolutely do.
I know. I understand. I don't know why, but apparently you're not the only one that doesn't like the horse thing. Now, I don't know about what is Old Blue.
I believe Old Blue was a dog, not old.
Like Old Blue.
Old Blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they said old, and that's why I didn't understand.
I'm sure they did.
Old Blue makes a little more sense as a dog, but I was curious. I was like, what's the problem with the horse? Apparently, it was a point of contention at some point in history.
It was when Lightning was introduced. He was not universally accepted.
Clearly.
and little has changed.
Well, I mean, those curmudgeonly old men and whatnot, those old farts that don't want change.
I wasn't an old fart at the time it was introduced, but I have since become one, I guess. But
well, I mean, I don't care either way. Because again, I don't care.
All right.
But
you've got your AKC. So.
I do have a little AKC. Of course, did not do much AKing this week. So
anyway.
Got its AK'd. But yeah, someone said that I guess it was the sidelines folks that said that, Middle needed a statue. And I was like, well, is the one of Boots not enough? Because they have a statue of Boots.
You got a Hall of Fame coach with a statue.
Right there. What statue? And apparently they meant a statue of the horse, of Lightning, or something similar.
No.
And I'm fine with that. I mean, whatever. But I just think it would be cool because the statue of Boots is him having his hand out. So it's just kind of perfect.
Just slap it as you go by.
Yeah, you slap Coach on the way in.
There you go.
I think that would be really cool because they walk through the tunnel right there, right by Lightning's.
You'd have to
locker room.
You'd have to move the statue, obviously.
Well,
because it's out in front of the Hall of Fame right now.
But everything else is being moved right now anyway. So
there you go.
Pick her up and put her right there inside the stadium, and
yeah,
that's part of the The game day
tradition.
intro.
There we go.
I think that would be a cool tradition. It's kind of like Howard's Rock, but way cooler because Howard's Rock sucks. It's kind of dumb. It's a rock.
It's a rock. Yeah, I mean, what did Howard like pick it up and move it or something?
I don't know what the significance of. It's like Plymouth. It's like Plymouth Rock. Like, have you ever been there? You ever seen pictures of Plymouth Rock?
No.
It's a literal rock. Like I thought it was like a giant boulder.
It's just a rock.
No, it's just a rock.
How?
Yeah, about like that.
Well, I just know from Malcolm X that we didn't land on it.
Clearly,
it landed on
us. Exactly. But, oh man.
Anyway,
it's funny that you say that because I don't know why it reminded me. That reminded me of going October 11th, October 12th, October 13th, October 14th. I was intoxicated each of those days. That's all it made me think of. I don't know why.
Friday night, Gallatin at Wilson Central. Let's get this thing back on track.
Gallatin at Wilson Central. Well, this is a region match. And
I think Wilson Central was open this past weekend.
Yeah, everybody in Wilson County was. And I only know that because I listened to Tommy's 2 minutes of radio gold and 17 seconds of silence, he said. and he said, look, this is not a wrap up because I have nothing to wrap up. Everyone was off. So he had nothing to do. I don't know. Did they even have a sports section in the Wilson paper last week?
With everybody off?
Just Larry Woody, and that's it. But me and everybody else, Gallatin Green Wave. I feel like Gallatin's got to win this one. They are right in the thick of the playoff race. Wilson Central likely out, and for me, it's Gallatin here.
Yeah, Gallatin was also off this past week after losing 26-23 to Cookeville 2 weeks ago, breaking a 3-game win streak. I think the Green Wave reestablishes themselves against a Wilson Central team that has lost 4 straight coming into this ball game, including a 41-6 loss at Lebanon 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I got to go with Gallatin here. Just feel like they've got a little bit more oomph.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along, Stewart's Creek at Smyrna.
It's another region game, right?
Yes. And Smyrna comes into this one 3-4. Of course, Stewart's Creek's 5-1 didn't help them last week. Because didn't they lose to 1-5?
No,
that wasn't them.
No, they were off last week.
Oh, okay, that's right, because they're
Rutherford. Yeah, no, they're Rutherford County. Smyrna has won their last 3. They were also off last week. A lot of folks off last week, obviously, but Smyrna defeated Laverne, McGavock, and East Nashville, winning that one 17-14 before their off week.
Yeah, their 4 losses are nothing to slouch at.
No, Riverdale, Rockville, Siegel, and Ravenwood 0-4 to open the year were the Bulldogs before getting back, like you said, to 3-4. Stewart's Creek won at West Creek a couple of weeks ago, opened last week. They are 5-2.
Yeah, their losses to Rockville and to Antioch.
Yeah. I like Stewart's Creek in this one.
I like Stewart's Creek because they beat Tullahoma. Of course, so did Franklin County. So I don't know.
Yeah,
your guess is as good as mine in that one. But yeah, I've got Stewart's Creek, but wouldn't surprise me if the Bulldogs pull this
cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously, yeah. Well, Monty Hale and Casey Patrick think the Bulldogs can pull it off.
Monty Hale, sports editor at the Murfreesboro Post.
Correct.
Might have a little insight.
That's what I was thinking. So, Pope Prep at Rockville. There's a lot of
interesting matchup.
This is an interesting matchup. This is, last year this would have been a barn burning matchup. a little bit less exciting, maybe.
Pope Prep lost a lot from last year.
Well, so did Rockville,
including Kenny Minchie. But Pope Prep won their last outing, won in overtime at Battleground Academy to get to 3-4. I like the running back, Elijah Robb, for Pope Prep. And I feel like he's going to make a difference. You all right?
No.
I'm sorry.
Struggling.
I feel like he's going to make a difference at some point in this ball game. I'm expecting it to be a low-scoring game, but I think Pope Prep gets it done on the road.
Yeah, I mean, Rockville's had a tough season at Nolensville, Smyrna, Tullahoma, Stewart's Creek, Riverdale, Oakland, Coffee County. This has not been an easy schedule, and they've still won 3 ball games against it. So, you know, I certainly think Rockville can compete, but I've got this one a 4-point win for Pope Prep.
Yeah.
A lot of Rutherford County flavor in this one, Mo.
Yeah.
It's 3 games in a row we've had Rutherford County teams. So,
and this one's for who gets the biggest piece of turkey at Thanksgiving in the Kreisky household.
Finally, the Kreisky Bowl.
When Matt takes the Blackman Blaze to face Will and the Riverdale Warriors. And I don't want to say the cupboard was bare necessarily at Blackman, but you know, when you lose the talent that they lost from last year, it's kind of tough. And Riverdale's really good at the quarterback spot.
Riverdale's got a good football team, a better football team than I expected them to have this year. And maybe that was, you know, my naivety. But yeah, I mean, to me, Riverdale has certainly shown that, you know, last year was a little bit of an outlier. And so I have the Warriors in this one.
Yeah, Riverdale 5-2. Their 2 losses are at Henry County by a point and at Germantown by 9. Now, it looks like the bulk of their schedule is in front of them because they finish against Blackman tomorrow night at home, at Siegel, and at Oakland. But I think they tune up for it with a win here, get their 4th straight win, and roll into Siegel with some momentum. And I don't know if you heard me talking to JoJo Freeman when we were at the MTSU Jack State game. Apparently the Siegel quarterback, the one that put up those big numbers in the opener, I think his name is Santel. Thomas Santel. Broken collarbone.
Yeah, he's been out for a couple of weeks, I think.
So yeah, that will certainly make a difference in that ball game. But regardless, I think Riverdale gets it done here against visiting Blackman.
All right, before we take a break, one final one down here in southern Middle Tennessee, Eagleville at Loretto. Loretto undefeated right now.
Loretto undefeated, Eagleville 4-3, non-region matchup. We will talk more about this on our Main Street Murray High School football preview show later.
We'll also pick it later. So you know what? Let's just not tell them who we're picking.
Little suspense.
We'll leave a little suspense because there's only 3 games. So let's not take any suspense. That's all the suspense that's already gone.
There you go.
Not add to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to know who we pick in Eagleville Loretto, you can watch it 6:15 tonight at Main Street Media TV on the Main Street Murray High School football preview show that airs each week on Thursday.
Who is the Main Street
I don't think there is one.
There's
because
not one tonight?
because our esteemed voice.
That's right.
Is
in
London.
London. Yeah, so I don't guess there is
He's
one.
eating peas and chips with gravy.
All right then.
Have you seen that picture going around?
I've not.
It's a guy at a soccer match, and he's got a plate of fries with like mashed peas and gravy on top of it. And someone said, "Paul Revere saved me from this." And thank God.
No doubt.
Thank God he did.
Absolutely.
So yeah, watch that one. There won't be a game of the week tonight. So 6:15 tonight, you can see Main Street Murray High School football preview show, and we'll tell you who we picked in Eagleville at Loretto. We'll take a break. When we come back, 5 more games to pick, including the Main Street Preps game of the week, Lebanon and Mount Juliet. Right after this, stick around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. 5 more games to pick here on this Preps Thursday. Glad to have you guys with us. It's been a heck of a day. We've enjoyed this one. So we've got one more segment, and we're going to pick 5 more games. And we will start, Mo, here at Friendship Christian. And this is my favorite if there were live mascots on the field. The York Institute Dragons.
You're breathing fire coming into Lebanon, huh?
I'm just saying it would be interesting if they could pull it off.
It would be interesting, no doubt.
I mean, I guess you could get a Komodo.
Now that's a dragon.
Yeah, I know. They got them at the Nashville Zoo. I've seen them. I bet Justin just cracked up, and he's like we can't.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't hear him because he's off. But yeah,
I know he was like, that was funny, guys.
We got a giggle out of JK with that one. York coming into this game undefeated.
Wow. How about that? Friendship Christian coming into this game, the defending state champs.
Mm-hmm. Clay County, Knoxville Grace, Bledsoe County, Tellico Plains. They won that one 74-0 on homecoming. Livingston, Oneida, and Stone Memorial are the 7 victims who have been burned.
Nice.
By the Dragons.
Well done.
Thank you.
You know, that schedule just doesn't scream
it does not scream win in Lebanon to me against a 6-1 Friendship Christian team. Whose only loss was to Middle Tennessee Christian 16-14. And who beat Columbia Academy 42-21 in week 3.
Well, after falling behind.
Mm-hmm. What was it?
It was 21-8,
something like that.
At halftime.
Yeah. So the Commanders came roaring back in that one.
Yeah, that loss to MTCS was a surprise for me. But they bounced back, took a week off. Man, great job by York. I mean, it's not like any of their games have really been close. Sans the Stone Memorial game, and Stone Memorial was 5-1 coming into that game, 6-1 coming into that game. So I mean, it wasn't. That's a pretty good team. I just don't think they got enough to take care of.
I don't know that they've been tested the way they're going to be tested against Friendship Christian tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Commanders.
I'm with you. I got the Commanders as well. You saw this team last week, Nashville Christian, and they're taking the long trek from Bellevue to Fayetteville. And that being said,
I wonder if they're going down tonight.
Dang near have to. But this Fayetteville team, after a couple of deep runs in the state playoffs in a row, have struggled in 2023.
If you'll recall, the freshman running back, was it KJ Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
Is now at Bob Jones in Alabama. And that doesn't help any.
No.
Now, they've still got the really good quarterback. And I don't remember his name, but he's a big kid. Tall, athletic. And
they've played a tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I mean, you're not going to find for a 1A school much tougher schedule than Upperman, Moore County, Giles County, Savannah, Marion County, Cannon County, which is a region game, and they took care of them pretty easily. And then Marshall County. It's hard for them to find people to play them over the last few years.
Which is probably what resulted in this game here. And
I mean, they could end the season 4-6 and host a playoff game.
It ain't how many, it's who.
Exactly. So don't let their record fool you. They're still athletic. They're still Fayetteville to some degree.
And this is a great quarterback matchup because, again, Fayetteville's got the junior, Samuel Willoughby, who's been offered by Akron, Central Michigan, and Eastern Kentucky, among others, 6'6", 190. And Nashville Christian's got the sophomore, Jared Curtis, 6'3", 210. I think he's down to 10. Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Michigan, Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss as of last month. So you have a chance to see some pretty good quarterback play in this ball game. I think Nashville Christian, and I talked to Jeff Brothers after the game Friday night. He was not happy, and not just with the loss. So I think they have been through some stuff this week, and I think they're going to be looking for somebody to take some stuff out on tomorrow night. I like the Eagles on the road here.
I'm with you. I think Nashville Christian bounces back, gets the win, but again, hey, Wade Neely, the Lone Ranger, picks the Tigers, because I'm telling you, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not be surprised if Fayetteville wins this game.
Sure, I wouldn't be surprised.
Kenwood at Dixon County, and is Dixon County? They're fighting for a playoff spot in this one, I believe.
Are they fighting for a spot? Or are they fighting for home field?
They're not going to get home field. Rossview and Clarksville.
Okay.
will get home field.
Okay.
The winner of that one, whenever it is. They're both 5-0 right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, right now, Dixon County, Kenwood, both 2-2 in the region. And so this is, and then they've got West Creek, who is just ahead of them. They could get as high as the 3 seed with a couple of wins. Dixon County playing for, big time playoff ball here in that region. So
Kenwood coming off back-to-back 40-point wins.
Kenwood's good. Listen.
But those were their first 2 wins of the year.
Only 2 wins of the year, but
Franklin Road Academy, East Nashville, Clarksville to open the season.
Now West Creek and Hillsboro are not nearly as good as the first 3, but they're still pretty good football teams.
Right.
And then Northeast and Northwest are not.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I don't really know what to expect. But Dixon County's burned me a couple times this year, and I'm not going to let the Cougars do it again.
I just think Jeff Tomlinson is slowly getting them headed in the right direction, and I like the Cougars here.
I wonder how much his time in Montgomery County helped him be prepared for this region, whereas someone else may not have been as prepared.
May not have had as much insight. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to go with the Cougars. All right, Beach hosting Siegel again. Sans
Santel. Yeah, and on the basis of that, I'm taking the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Beach proved something to me last week. That even though they lost, I think a 1-point loss to Henry County in overtime proves that you can play with just about anybody.
Well, I think we thought that about Beach anyway.
Well, I did until they lost 28-7 to Independence, and I thought I've seen this Independence team, but I don't think I realized how good Centennial was. And I thought, Centennial, maybe, but and now I think I'm kind of seeing how strong that district or that region really is. So I'm going with Beach because I don't think that loss is nearly as bad as I thought it was when it happened.
There you go. Okay.
And again, game of the week. Lebanon at Mount Juliet. Should be an interesting ball game. Undefeated Golden Burrs.
At home.
Against BDP and the Lebanon Blue Devils.
Man, this is going to be a fun atmosphere, I think. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think Mount Juliet eventually gets it done. But I think it's, like I said, I just think it's going to be an entertaining ball game to when we talk about rivalry games and that kind of thing. And how far back did he say it goes? Continuously, they've played since 76?
77.
So, man, there will be a lot of alumni on hand, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, absolutely, there will be.
Yeah,
and this is always going to be a good game, but I got to go with the Bears.
Yeah, and again, like Trey was saying, Chuck Gentry's got Lebanon playing pretty well right now, but I think Mount Juliet gets it done. So
there you have it. Those are our picks. If you want to see all of the picks, you can go to mainstreetpreps.com. You can watch later Main Street Murray High School Football Preview Show the Main Street Murray High School Football Preview Show where we pick 3 Lawrence County games.
That's not our fault.
It's not our fault.
Murray County's not playing. Don't blame us. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, Lawrence County, the only 3 teams playing, so that's
who we picked.
And that's who we picked. We'll be back next week with plenty of Murray County action, but going to be back tomorrow with college football previews and picks as well. Should be a lot of fun, and of course, I'm hoping that we can get a report from London and have.
Hopefully, I don't want any reports about peas and chips. So
no, please, gosh, no. But yeah, hopefully we can get a report from London and see what's up over there. And looking forward to seeing you guys here on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joe. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio at 2:00 tomorrow here on Main Street Media Television. Until then, we'll see you next time.